Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and this time I'll be playing Bioshock 2. Now, Bioshock 2 gets a lot of bad rep, if you ask me. A lot of people think that it was just a cash grab, that it is uninspired, and that it, introduces a lot of retcons that are stupid. But I happen to disagree wholeheartedly. I think, to be honest, I actually like Bioshock 2 a lot more than I like Bioshock Infinite, which I dislike to the point where I'm not even sure if I'm going to be playing it on the channel. I think Bioshock 2 does some very nice things with the setting because it explores parts of Rapture that are very significant to the story and that add a lot of depth to the sort of world building of the game, because it specifically deals with the situation of the lower class in Rapture, like workers, specifically like construction workers who were brought to actually build Rapture, and their situation after the city has been completed, where there was no actual place left for them, because the city was built as this haven for the elite, but obviously the posh elites wouldn't be getting their hands dirty installing the actual pipes and whatnot. So I think Bioshock 2 is a valuable addition to the franchise, and I think it has a lot to offer in terms of things to consider and to think about. And as far as the retcons go, I think most of them are kind of plausible. They are constructed in a way that tries to explain why they weren't mentioned in Bioshock 1, and for most cases I think it works decently enough so that I can overlook that. And to be honest, anyone who criticizes Bioshock 2 for introducing retcons should as well criticize Bioshock Infinite, because it retcons much more plot significant elements of the franchise and in much more significant ways than whatever Bioshock 2 does. But without further ado, let me actually start a new game, and I'll be playing on hard, as I did in Bioshock 1. It was manageable enough, so I think I should be okay.
Look, Daddy, it's you. Let's go out to play, Daddy. More angels, Daddy. This way.
There we are. He's perfectly safe now. This is not your daughter. Do you understand? Her name is Eleanor, and she is mine. Now, kneel, please. Remove your helmet. Now, take the pistol. Place it against your head. Fire.
Hello, can you hear me? You're
So, the existence of this Big Daddy model that you play as is already a bit of a retcon, because it was specifically stated in Bioshock 1 that you cannot remove a Big Daddy suit, and being transformed into a Big Daddy is a one-way street. They literally graft the suit onto a person's body, like, permanently. Whereas here it was clear that the protagonist could remove his own helmet and still function normally, at least for a couple of seconds that it took him to actually shoot himself in the face. But generally speaking, I would say you playing as a Big Daddy in Bioshock 2 is a bit of a gimmick at most. Like, sure, it actually plays rather significantly into the actual story, because, as you will soon learn, it has a lot to do with your quote-unquote little sister, Eleanor. But it could have been constructed in a similar way, without you being a Big Daddy, which I am going to talk about, because it is actually there is an NPC that I think could be a player character and could be a very interesting player character. So I will talk about that when we encounter more information about him. But generally, as I said, it seems to me that playing as a Big Daddy in Bioshock 2 is mostly a gimmick. Like, it doesn't really impact that much. Oh, sure, you have the little outline of the helmet, and your footsteps are a little more sort of impactful, but generally speaking, it doesn't really differ that much from how you played in Bioshock 1. You can still jump, you can still crouch, you can still do anything that you could, and you're not even... I don't think you're slower. You move rather fast for such a cumbersome figure as a Big Daddy, so I'm not sure if it was necessary. I think they mostly did it for the cool factor, because obviously most players were so familiar with the Big Daddies. They are such an iconic sort of character from Bioshock, that it must have seemed immensely cool at first to be a Big Daddy, but in the end it doesn't really change that much. With that being said, let's continue, let's actually start the game. Press and hold M to get a hint if you are stuck. Yeah, the game thinks I am stuck because I spent so much time here. Adonis Luxury Resort. So it was basically like a spa for Rapture. Fallen is Babylon, which I presume refers to Rapture itself. And you have a number of photos here. I'm not quite sure whether they are supposed to represent, I don't know, people that have died in Rapture. Is it like a memorial? Because there are flowers in here as well. Or maybe they are missing people. But I would much rather lean into the dead category, because obviously, as I said, the flowers make it seem as if it's a memorial for the dead. Now you can get your first glimpse at a little sister in this vent over here, if you look at it at the right moment. But you can't interact with her for now. Adonis, Rapture's finest spa and getaway. And here you get the first glimpse of the Big Sister, which is a new and significant enemy type in Bioshock 2. Lamb is watching. Tomorrow's promise kept today. Rapture. Okay, not quite sure what that is supposed to mean. Adonis Luxury Resort. This is blocked for now. Drill fuel. Now you have a new sort of attack. If you hold the left mouse button, you can drill people. And it's actually quite a cool attack, but I have a kind of a difficult relationship with it, because I always feel like I need to conserve the fuel for really tough fights. But to be honest, the game isn't really designed in a way that requires it. You have more than enough fuel to keep using it even in regular fights. The game really encourages that, so I will try not to limit myself, too hard. Get a hint. To be honest, I might actually disable that, because the game is going to the game is it adaptive training? Maybe, because the game is going to show that quite often. What with me stopping to talk about things, it's going to think I am stuck, basically. I think it was it. Warning, high voltage, pool room generator. I cannot interact with this for now. However, there is an audio diary. Attention workers.
Lesson 1, mop jockeys. You are under the ocean now. If you feel the soft patter of rain on your hat, you're already fired. Lesson 2. You can jumpstart a dead generator with a direct spark, but clear the guests out of the pool first. Scares these rich pricks to watch a working stiff hurling thunderbolts. You follow me?
Oh, it still shows the hints. So
the end a bit longer. Oh well. Stay dead.
So to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what the adaptive training is about, if it's not about hints. Yeah, 451 is a very famous number in game development. It has sort of like a running joke almost at this point, especially in immersive sims. I think it started originally with System Shock 1, and it had something to do with the office number of the people working on that game. and then it's a recurring number in System Shock 1, System Shock 2, Thief, Bioshock 1, Bioshock 2, Bioshock Infinite, Prey, and some other titles maybe. I'm going to put a link in the description, showcasing all or at least many of the games it appears in. But it's inverted in this case because obviously it was written from the other side, so it's actually 1540 as it's shown here. Fitness.
My husband is such a perfect idiot. Throws away all his spending money on gene tonics to affect a look of physical fitness. So he'll have an excuse to sit on his rear all day listening to radio serials. Steven, I tell him, you want to be fit? Come swim laps with me, the old-fashioned way. It's your mind that's atrophying. Maybe I'll start sneaking some brain boost into his daily regimen.
Okay, invigorating, electrifying, feel the spark of vivacity at the fingertips of our specially trained therapists. Get current with Electrobolt at Adonis Luxury Resort. Interesting. That's an interesting application of that plasmid. Basically, I guess they were using it to complement massage. Sending some mild electric current throughout people's bodies to relax the muscles and all that. Interesting. Plasmids. Lamb is watching, and that is Dr. Lamb, who we have already seen in the intro. She has taken Eleanor, our quote-unquote little sister, and she actually told us to kill ourselves. So Eve dispenser, you can actually top on Eve dispensers in here, which in this game you can only use 5. I mean, you can only carry 5 as opposed to 9 in Bioshock 1. But I think it's still 9 medkits, although I'm not entirely sure. And this book, Unity and Metamorphosis by Dr. Sophia Lamb, it bears the image of a butterfly, which is a very prominent image in Bioshock 2. You can see butterflies encircling this photograph of Dr. Lamb. It is an important symbol in Bioshock 2. Rapture's Best and Brightest, 1952. So here you can see Bridget Tenenbaum, Sander Cohen, Andrew Ryan, of course, Yi Su Chong, and those two are the new characters from Bioshock 2. This is... is this Sinclair? Or Gil Alexander? I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, you as a player playing this blind at this point don't know either, so I will have to have my memory refreshed. And this is obviously Sophia Lamb. Now, as I said, their existence, especially hers, is a significant retcon, because obviously she's supposedly Rapture's best and brightest, and yet she was mentioned nowhere throughout the entirety of the first game. But as I also said, the game, I think, does a half-decent job of actually explaining that, so I am going to let that slide. Okay, so we had a vision of Eleanor. Evolution in a Bottle, Plasmids by Ryan Industries. Okay, that's not particularly fascinating. Treatment Room 1. Someone burned to death. Look 20 years younger. Rejuvena. Skin tightening tonic from Sinclair Solutions. Used with Pride by Jay Steinman. Sunbeam Gum. Chew some today. Bigger bubbles. Better bubbles. Pinker bubbles. 25% more latex. And remember, it's the only gum fortified with vitamin D. Rapture's favorite chewing gum. Okay. Why not? Treatment room 2. Some money. Sounds like you need to slim down. Orion Industries tonic. Okay. And this is a chewing gum advertisement again. Actually, what's the quick save? What's the quick save? What's the quick save? F11, you say. I'm going to change that to F5. So, please hurry, Daddy. And some toys. As well as a jar with fireflies. From Eleanor. Come soon, come to find me. So, let's take this first plasmid, Electrobolt.
Daddy was sleeping for such a long time, and Eleanor has missed you. Find her and you'll be all better. Daddy!
So, that was the big sister again. And the little sister actually had a little doll of a Big Daddy. Rapture Tribune. Recent bloodshed creates panic. Okay. Rapture Tribune. The rest of the text is far too blurry to actually read, so let's just go forward. Now, I think from a gameplay standpoint, Bioshock 2 allowing you to use plasmids simultaneously with simultaneously with actual regular weapons is a brilliant move. And it makes the fights a lot more dynamic and a lot more enjoyable. So from a gameplay standpoint, I think it's definitely a move in the right direction. And I wholeheartedly approve.
At last, a signal. You, who are bringing this dead city to life, listen. My name, it is Tannenbaum. I know who you are, and I am in much need of your help. Please, find me in the Atlantic Express train station.
Okay, so let's get a move on. Although, to be honest, now that the hints are still appearing, I have no idea what the adaptive training is supposed to be doing. Like, I don't know what this option does. And the menu, the game itself doesn't really explain. Most effective milk substitute. 32% of your recommended daily dose of something, probably protein. Kashmir restaurant for the exotic entertainment, pleasure, and dining experience. Okay. You can see a Big Daddy here actually using his tools to repair the leaks in Rapture. So I believe that's what they were envisioned for originally, as a maintenance crew for Rapture, before being used as protectors for Little Sisters. To my daughter.
To my daughter, Eleanor. Soon you will be born, and Rapture will be your home. You shall be raised as I was, to advance the common good through social psychiatry. This city's potential is immeasurable, Eleanor. Yet our beliefs are unwelcome here. Life will be difficult, but the price of revolution is always dear. If we are patient with her, Rapture will come to us.
So from this audio diary you can already tell that Sophia Lamb had some grand plans for her stay in Rapture, which are only going to be elaborated upon later on in the game. Now, it costs $5 to use a crapper in Rapture, but funnily enough, it's actually totally worth it in this particular case, because there's more money inside. So you eventually recuperate your losses with a little bit of an advantage on top of that. Okay.
I haven't had a taste of Adam in weeks.
I don't need to hear your grousing. Go running to land if you're so desperate.
This is Dr. Sophia Lamb with a message for the people. Remember, you are not alone. Think of me not as leader, but as mother to the Rapture family.
Yeah, so you get a first glimpse of Sophia Lamb's organization, as it were, the Rapture family. They are all under her influence and under her leadership, and the butterflies are like their symbol. You can actually see it on many of the splicers. When I encounter some more on land, I will try showcasing that. Return.
I am back in Rapture after so many years. The little ones I rescued are grown up and think of me no more. After what I once did to them, it was a joy to be forgotten. But now, all around the world, children vanish by the sea, kidnapped. And so I return, in fear of what I already know. Someone is making new little ones, continuing my work, my sins. Even if I am to die for it, I must stop them.
Splice nice. Excuse me. Splice nice. Animal magnetism from Fontaine Futuristics. Okay, so I guess it was a tonic that helped you. It was maybe like pheromones or something. Helped you pick up people and generally be more approachable as far as dating goes. Ryan Amusements Journey to the Surface. An experience that no citizen of Rapture can afford to miss. Andrew Ryan. Now it's rather ironic. Well, maybe ironic is not a correct word. It's a bit hilarious that he's giving the endorsement for the amusement park comes from the owner himself. Like, I wouldn't exactly trust that. Fire at your fingertips. Incinerate plasmid by Ryan Industries. This guy looks kind of like Robert Pattinson. But that's besides the point. Lamb is watching. More copies of the book, Unity and Metamorphosis. And more butterflies as well. You need to slim down. Limitless potential with plasmids. I'm not quite sure what hairdressing has to do with plasmids. Or with limitless potential for that matter. Brain Boost, Ryan Industries Gene Tonic. Okay. Population Ecology. Health and happiness through genetics. So here you have your first ranged weapon, which is a rivet gun. It is quite a decent weapon, but for now, I think I mostly can afford to... Oh damn it, I didn't want to do that actually. Okay, there's more ammunition. Let's save. Wellness station. $5 for a physical checkup. Free first aid kit with your paid appointment. Okay. Plasmic Quick. Contains 25% more per bottle. When life begins to drag, flip the switch. Enjoy Plasmic Quick. Okay, so it's like a... presumably like an energy drink. Or something. Afflicted with Fossy Jaw, Scurvy, Dandy Dental has the cure for what ails. Oral surgery is specialty. Okay. Brought to you by Vitastat. Feel better than ever. Quality that can't be beat. Now with extra strength. When your vitality is as important as your time. With Adam, there is no reason not to be beautiful. Dr. Steinman's cosmetic enhancements. Eve, running on empty? Fill up with Eve. Only the best for our discerning customers. Safe, speedy and affordable. Thrifty care. Okay, no medkits left here. Rapture Metro. Now, there is a destroyed bathysphere right here, as well as a suitcase with hop cola, which I believe is probably supposed to signify a drink from the surface, you know, like a Coca-Cola analog or something. Because if you take a look at this recording, they called it Rapture.
Barely made it down alive. But here it is. And it's real. Rapture. This is where that thing took my poor baby girl. From what I saw in the sub, most of the city's in ruins. But there were lights here and there. And shapes moving. I'm rambling, scared, I guess. But maybe, if I find this Dr. Lamb I keep hearing over the PA, I'll find Cindy too.
Yeah, so Mark Meltzer was actually a very important character in the marketing campaign leading up to the release of Bioshock 2, because there was a whole like augmented reality game. Like it was a puzzle game basically that you had to solve on the internet. You were receiving clues regarding people disappearing from the surface, and you were supposed to help Mark Meltzer figure out what happened to his daughter Cindy, who was kidnapped into Rapture, and he was trying to figure out what happened, and eventually, as you could see from this, he found his way into Rapture, but this was a whole event. Like, I think it lasted for months. There has been, multiple clues and like riddles that you had to solve to help Mark Meltzer, find Rapture. So that was very cool, and in fact, as I said, Mark Meltzer is exactly the character I thought of that could be an actual player character. I think he could work very well as a player character, and it could be a similar kind of a story. Obviously, it would have to be reshuffled significantly-ish, because you couldn't have witnessed Sophia Lamb kidnapping your daughter if you only arrived in Rapture afterwards from the surface looking for your daughter. But the general theme of fatherhood and of familiar relationships could still be kept if Mark Meltzer was the main character in the game. I think it could have worked. It might have been interesting, maybe with him bringing some technology from the surface or something, because obviously Rapture has been in disrepair, to say the least. It has been in ruins for 10 years at least, actually more than that, actually more than 10 years, and as you could see on the audio recorder itself, his photo is actually the only one in the entire game that's in color. It's supposed to signify that he comes from a later point in time with improved technology. Stay away.
Might as well call me an undertaker these days, but it suits me just fine. It's something.
As you can see from the fuel lying around, the game really doesn't expect you to hoard it, so I will try not to. There is little reason to. The game clearly expects you to have fun with the drill, so I will try to do that. And now a word from Dr. Lamb. But there are no words coming from this monitor, and some cartoons with little sisters and big daddies. Do not disturb the little sisters. Okay.
Big sister doesn't want you playing with me.
Now, this is your first fight against the big sister, but it's actually 100% fake. There is no actual tension because you're literally immortal. Like, I suppose it's an anti-frustration feature, The game still considers it to be like a tutorial. But I find it to be a little bit ridiculous, because once you realize that you literally cannot die, it drains all of the tension in this sequence.
This is Dr. Sophia Lamb with a message for the people. Remember, Big Sister is always watching. To steal Adam is to steal from the Rapture family. Your family.
Yeah, so as you could hear, the Big Sisters kind of work for Sophia Lamb. They are like the enforcers of the Rapture family, overseeing the gathering of Adam for whatever purpose they need it for, which will be revealed later. But coming back to my previous topic, I think it's a little bit ridiculous to have designed the way the game in a way where you're actually literally immortal in this sequence, because it makes it almost comical. You don't have to do anything, and the fight just ends anyway. Like, what? To be honest, it would be better if it was all in a cutscene, maybe. And they just fought for a second and then she escaped, or even better, actually disregard that completely and let you die. Like, maybe have it on a timer. You have to survive for like a minute or something, or 30 seconds, whatever. I'm not sure why they did it like this, but I think it's a little bit silly. Registration, this is locked. Adonis, luxury resort, let life begin again. Mind over matter, telekinesis, free samples at Dundee Dental. I'm not sure if using telekinesis to stare your tea is the best use of Eve, but presumably it's rather expensive, and generally I would think you probably have better things to do with your telekinesis plasmid than stare your freaking tea, especially from such a distance. But obviously this is an advertisement. You probably shouldn't be spending so much time overthinking that. Slow down, Mary. Take care of yourself. That's the Rapture way. A Rapture reminder. What? What is the reminder about? Is it about not stepping into open manholes? Like, I guess that's a good advice, but was it really? Is this such a big problem that they had to do a PSA about it? Habana Special. So that's cigarettes, right? Generation.
Diane insisted that we spend a weekend at the Adonis, and already I find myself seeking a respite from my vacation. She deems it necessary to chide me for working. The words dissolve into an endless animal bleat. I founded Rapture to be free of law and God, to live among those for whom work is our wage. Yet, when Diane speaks of bearing my child, I am given pause. Till now I had never considered my legacy. Perhaps after the new year.
Yeah, so Andrew Ryan continues to be thoroughly unpleasant, even though he's long dead at this point. but it's actually, like, I don't know, I find it a little bit horrifying how, you know, Diane McClintock was Andrew Ryan's lover, at least, you know, that was like technically the framework of their relationship, that they were in a relationship with each other, and yet he speaks of her with such disdain. Like, he literally likened her to an animal. I find that horrifying because that tells you a lot about what kind of person he was and how he viewed personal relationships. How maybe he was actually incapable of of actual love, or at the very least he didn't love her. It was clear from the way he described her. You don't talk that way about a person you love. So best case scenario, he was in a relationship with a person whom he disdained, and worst case scenario, he maybe actually disdained most people. And please wait to be seated. I don't think that's going to happen. The Frederick Copperline Happy Handmaid. A housewife's day is full of stress, cooking, tidying up, correspondence, and the husband who's always in the office, working to get ahead in the free market. Relax with this soothing touch of the new Happy Handmaid massage, with 3 massage settings and a gentle warming effect. Leave the skin finished with a feeling of youthfulness, a discreet companion to your successful day. Use of this product benefits the feminine mind and spirit. Dr. Sophia Lamb. Wait, what? What is that? Is that a massager? Or is that a vibrator? Or is it both? Because actually it could be both, for all I know. You know, the actual idea behind both of those products is kind of similar. You know, if it was constructed in a correct way, I'm pretty sure you could use a massager as a vibrator, or a vibrator as a massager. So, you know, I'm not entirely sure. Dionysus Park. Go wild. Oh, that's the big sister again. Demeter's Banquet Hall. Dionysus Park. Again. Neckties by Wilson Freeman. Save. We will be reborn in the cold womb of the ocean. The Mermaid Bar, Ladies' Night every week. Okay, but this first episode has actually been long enough, so I'm going to pause it here. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.